Right, so Poppy, the time's arrived, the time to speak. So before we get started, can we just confirm one thing? You weren't paid to do this interview.
No, absolutely not.
So let's get straight to it then. Why did you leave Married at First Sight?
I left the show because I was incredibly uncomfortable with some things that unfolded. Initially, well, obviously my wedding was really uncomfortable. I think everyone saw that. Many reasons for that. One just being a gut feeling. I didn't sleep initially with Luke in the bed on the very first wedding night. I went into the bed in the morning. That's why I'm filmed waking up there. On the honeymoon, it was very uncomfortable. I was obviously not coping under the stress of it all and feeling very uneasy about the person I was matched with due to the fact that, I don't know, I was set up with someone that had cheated on their wife after I very clearly had been, on camera saying what had happened to me. I was pulled up a couple of days into the honeymoon and basically told by production that Australia's going to hate you. You're the next Innes. You're treating him really badly. Just a whole lot of stuff that absolutely petrified me. You need to make an effort. You need to at least sleep in the same room. I wasn't sleeping in the same room with him on the honeymoon. That night I apologised and said, look, I'm sorry, I wouldn't want my kids to be treated like this. And I moved into the same bedroom. I think on the honeymoon, I stayed in the bed a second time, and then nothing happened. When we got back to Sydney, we immediately had a fight. So you don't see a lot of footage of the honeymoon at all, or what actually really happened.
Stage?
No, I'd done nothing. The only thing that had been shared was the wedding kiss when they're like, now you may kiss the bride. That's it. When we got back to Sydney, we had a fight and he moved into a completely different hotel room. So after that, we were not on good terms. And then we went to the dinner party and the commitment ceremony. The commitment ceremony, I got absolutely hammered by the experts on the lounge. And I tried to tell them, well, this and that's happening off camera. And they're like, on camera and off camera does not exist to the public. So basically, you're a horrible person. It was really frustrating. I felt like it was just, once again, I was being made to feel like I was making a big deal out of nothing. Throughout the day, we had to pack to move into the apartment. I really didn't want to go. I didn't want to move. This was moving into the apartment we were supposed to be living in. I was very, I think it shows, very uncomfortable. So then the camera crews arrived and we moved into our apartment that day. And when we got there, they said, okay, you've got to go shopping together. I didn't want to go shopping with him. All I could see was the fact that there is one bed there and like a little lounge. And I just thought, I don't want to stay here. So what happened when we moved into the apartment is that we had then the third big argument about it while he was preparing the dinner that you see on the episode. And I absolutely was going off my head about it. I said, where are you going to sleep? I don't want to be in this apartment. Like, there's only one bed. I feel really uncomfortable. I feel like you're making it out as if I'm upset over nothing. I'm sick of feeling this way, basically. And then the camera crew came rushing in and said, are you fighting off camera? And then they filmed the whole fight where I basically then said, this is what's been going on. I just thought, because I've been told you're going to be hated and everything like that, don't make a big deal out of it. This is like a lot more serious to me. I feel really uncomfortable. I'm always upset. And the whole thing's captured on camera. Like, so after all this happened, head of the show comes in with her assistant, sits down on the bed. We're now in separate rooms, and I've said I'm going home, I'm not staying. I'd refused to say goodbye to him, refused to do any writing a letter, refused to do anything. I just wanted it to be over with. I should have said leave at the actual commitment ceremony, but they kind of said, well, you know, he's going to say stay, so would have been stuck there anyway. Again, when people are telling you that something is not a big deal, you start to believe that it's not. You start to think, oh my God, you're in such an intense environment already. Everybody's already highly paranoid and going through so many emotions. I started to think like, oh my God, am I making a big deal out of nothing? The final dinner party that you see, like, which nobody's seen yet, the reunion dinner party, you will see us getting along, because before that, after this all happened, I got called back to do a girls' night. So to come along and just film a girls' night, it was probably a week or two before the show ended. And so I went back to film that. I thought, finally a chance to actually go and be happy and see the girls again. I hadn't seen anyone. I walked into that girls' night, which is on camera, and was immediately just bombarded with questions about why I left, why didn't you give Luke a chance, why this. The official explanation was like, we're not here to make you look bad, we're just going to play on the fact that you've missed your kids. We've never had that storyline before. But when you can't tell the truth about something, you're obviously going to have to say something. So I'm there just going, oh, my kids, my kids, my kids. I was seeing my kids that weekend. It was organised that I was going to see my kids that weekend. And so to be played out to be just like constantly going on about them, like, I had to say something. What was I going to say? It wouldn't have got played. The truth was never going to be played. It never has sat well with me along the way to not speak up about something like this. I feel like because of who I am, I'm the kind of person that will stand up for something even if I'm standing alone. So being sort of quietened down, it just didn't sit well with me. I just all of a sudden disappeared. You can't leave that show
And do you
that easily. I feel like I was definitely told to be quiet, and, you know, like, that's why I feel like a lot of people don't speak up in the industry or any industry about stuff like this, because you're just made to feel like it's not important enough. I never said the producers were vultures. That's totally been taken out of context. Do they manipulate you into saying things? No, you are asked questions and then you are told, you know, okay, well, can you say that answer in a different way? Can you say, so there's several versions of you saying that answer, which could then be repeated to, you know, make you look like you're just a nut job. I miss my kids, I miss my kids, I miss my kids. You are told things like, Australia's going to hate you, you better. So you can hear me on, you know, my friends are telling me like, how come you're saying, you know, this could work, I'll give it a chance and stuff like that. I was freaking scared of being so hated if I didn't, you know, play to this part. Nobody stopped me for leaving. I was like rushed straight out of there. It was just more the getting home and feeling like, wow, this happened, and it's played down to just being nothing. Oh, well, you know, like, I feel like Luke was really supported. When I got home from filming, I didn't get out of bed for 3 days. My mum had to come here and look after my kids. That was a real big train wreck. I think the turning point was receiving a call from the show basically saying, you know, we're not here to make you look bad, you know, like, we're just going to focus on the storyline of you missing your kids. I have been so badly bullied online, and I knew that was going to come. All the girls and guys in the show are copying it. We are all struggling, and we are all, you know, trying to lift each other up daily out of this. But I have particularly had a hard time with it because I didn't get a chance to speak the truth of why I was so uncomfortable and so cold on that show. People have written to me, you know, fuck you and your shitty white kids, I'll stab them. Like, just, it's relentless. I don't go on any social media. My friends, they, oh God, they're best friends. They literally are fighting trolls daily to try and keep it down. But like, these people that are bullying me are the exact same people that would be absolutely mortified if somebody was bullying their child. And me, the girls on the show, the boys on the show, we're all somebody's child. So you should be ashamed of yourself. Reaching out to a stranger and saying the most disgusting things based on a small percentage of footage that you've seen when you don't know anything that happened behind the scenes, that is really disgusting, especially given that people commit suicide because of online bullying.
And all for a television show.
All for a television show. And you know what? You signed up for it. You knew what you were in for. Nothing can prepare you for that. You went on it for fame. Mate, anybody that wants to be known obviously doesn't know what it actually feels like. No, I didn't sign up to be held back from telling the truth. Media has reached out to me and said, after the show, I never got any media, anything, like, unless it was a Channel 9 supervised interview where you'll see me going, yeah, look, this and that, my kids, like, it's freaking bullshit. I was told that, you know, you got to be more consistent in what you're saying in these interviews that we're setting up for you. And I said, how can I be consistent when I'm lying? If I can't tell a full story about why I was uncomfortable, if you tell the truth, you never have to remember anything. Of course I'm going to sound all wishy-washy if I'm bullshitting because I have to cover up why I really left. Instead of feeling scared, I feel relieved because I shouldn't have to be made to not say something that made me feel uncomfortable. And what I had said to them was, if he touched my arm and that made me feel uncomfortable, I have a right to say that. You should never make somebody feel like something is so insignificant, it just can't even, you know, like, it's just, if it's reality TV, why wasn't the reality of it played? Why didn't they say Poppy has left? Because, you know, it just felt like everything was about protecting him and screw her. He's Mr. Nice Guy and she's just, you know, like, it's bullshit. And now when so many, you know, people from the media are reaching out to me and telling me that they tried to get interviews with me prior to the show airing, during the show airing. I was booked to go to Bali on the 3rd of February and they changed my flights because I had to be here to appear on a show, but that show then never ended up happening. And I didn't care that I wasn't getting any media or radio. It's quite a hassle for me because of the kids getting them minded and stuff. But when people are now telling me that they reached out, and I'm not saying just one radio, I'm talking like multiple stations and magazines and whatnot, and said, anytime we contacted to get an interview with you, we were told that you weren't available. And that to me is like wanting me to stay quiet. What other explanation is the fact that some girls are doing 17 radio interviews a day and I did none. I hope that shows other people that it doesn't matter how small you are, you should always stand up and tell the truth. It doesn't matter who you're going up against, and you should never be made to feel like your story is not worth telling.